Once we discuss donuts, let's discuss another wonderful part of our celebration of Hanukkah, and that is, of course, the dreidel. But why do we begin? Why do we spin the dreidel? Why do we play dreidel? One answer is, although not the only one, that dreidel was the toy of choice that was used to help the children disguise their learning. The Greeks forbade any learning of Torah, so when the teachers would privately learn with their students, the dreidel would be taken out when the Greeks would walk by. And there's many other suggestions about to the nature of the dreidel. There is an idea offered by the Bnei Yissaschar, an idea that is based on the Maharal. The Maharal sees the Hanukkah story in context of the 4 periods of exile since the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. We know that the Babylonians, the Bavel, came and destroyed the first Beis HaMikdash. The Jews remained under the rules of 3 more people, the Persians, the Greeks, and the Romans. And it's that exile, the Roman exile, that continues until this day. The Maharal notes something very important. Hanukkah is more than just about the Greeks. It's about the survival through Jewish history. Go through Mo's Sur. Look at Mo's Sur. It's Jewish history in 10 minutes. It goes through all of the nations and the cultures that have tried to wipe us out. And says the Bnei Yissaschar, not only does Hanukkah reflect all of our exiles, but they represented on the dreidel itself. We know that the dreidel has Gimel, Shin, Nun, and Hey. Obviously, it doesn't work if you have the Israeli dreidel, but Gimel, Shin, Nun, and Hey, and it represents Gufni, my body. We'll see the Seichel, my mind, my Nefesh, and Hakol of everything. What does that mean? The Nun, he says, stands for the Nefesh. That's for Bavel. They tried to destroy us, our souls, with Avodah Zarah. The Gimel is Guf. That is Persia. That is Haman. Lahashmid, Laharok, Ula'abed. The Guf, the Gimel, is to kill us. Some nations have tried to wipe out our souls. Some have tried to wipe out our bodies. The sin is the Seicha. That's the Greeks. They didn't want to convert us. They didn't want to make us worship Avodah Zarah. They wanted our intellect, our culture, they reasoned with us. They forbade us to do certain things because they tried to convince us that we were wrong. So that is Gimel, Nun, and Shin. And the Hey is Hakol, is the Roman exile. Our current exile has been one of all stripes and colors. There have been attempts to wipe us out spiritually, wipe us out physically, and wipe us out intellectually. And that's what Bnei Yissaschar says is those 4 letters. Gimel, Nun, Hey, and Shin represent the 4 different ways that the nations have tried to get rid of us. And says the Bnei Yissaschar, and what happens when I spin the dreidel? Everything else disappears. All of those sides, all of those letters cease to be seen. There is but one center, and that is the axis of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the message of Hanukkah. Not just that God is in control, but when the world seems so dark and so dangerous, we realize that no matter what, it spins around His axis. That's why, as I mentioned, we sing Mo Sur. It speaks of Hashem's hand in guiding us through all of our exiles. And that's what we think about when we spin the dreidel, when we light the menorah, that we rely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As we mentioned earlier about the date of Hanukkah, about the notion of hope, that is what is all represented in these different facets of this beautiful and uplifting yontif of Hanukkah.